Let's talk about how to impress people with your art, because wanting social validation is completely natural. I think we all want some of that good stuff. But let's be honest about what it actually takes to make art that will impress your loved ones, friends, or people online. I think there are two key components that we can focus on, and these aren't just isolated into art. These are things that will apply to all aspects of life. I do think that thinking of art as this isolated thing is not very useful. I do think that taking lessons from life, all of life, and applying to your art practice is a very useful skill. So that's what we're going to talk about here. The first thing that I want you to consider is when you meet someone new in person, what does it take for you to be impressed by them? What consistently is impressive in person when you meet someone new? The first thing that comes to mind is confidence. Regardless of where they are from, what they look like, what they do for a living, what hobbies they have, if someone is confident, that is impressive in itself, regardless of the other traits. Even if they're a bad person, even if they have a poor sense of humor, someone who's confident is just attractive. But telling you to just be confident in your art practice is such a non-starter, it's not a useful thing to talk about. So what I would recommend you do is sit down and write what confidence looks like to you. But the conclusion that I've come to is that someone who's confident is someone who is at peace with themselves. It's someone who accepts themselves as they are, regardless of limitations, regardless of any of their traits. Someone who accepts themselves, who is at peace with themselves, tends to be confident. So I think that is number one thing that I want you to focus on here, is to make peace with your artistic voice. Make peace with your creative voice. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to improve your practice, but I do think that there is a superpower in an artist who's just okay with the thing that they do. You see this a lot online, where a lot of the successful artists who are actually like financially successful are the artists who have found their voice and is okay with who they are and their voice. Even if they make a lot of art that looks similar, they're completely fine with it because they made peace with the fact that this is who they are. I feel like a lot of people misunderstand confidence because they attach it to being flawless. They think that, oh, I can only be confident once my drawings are good. I will feel confident about my drawings once I'm actually technically impressive. Or once I'm perfect at anatomy, then I'll feel confident about my art practice. And I think this is completely wrong. Obviously, improving the practice will give you more things to be confident about. But I think ultimately confidence is just about acceptance. It's about accepting the fact that you are limited. Someone who's confident isn't someone who's just flawless. There are plenty of people that you will meet out in the world who are great at, are amazing at many, many things, who have many, many reasons to feel good in their skin, to be confident, yet they aren't confident. It was only about the externals. There are a lot of people who would be confident who aren't confident right now. You see this all the time. A lot of times you'll have friends who are beautiful, aesthetically beautiful, right? Like have perfect genes, yet they are insecure about how they look. How is that possible? If confidence was about the externals. Confidence is not about the externals. Confidence is about how you feel about yourself. And a lot of that comes from whether or not you are accepting of who you are and what you look like, who, like all the different aspects of yourself, or if you're trying to resist that. The more you try to resist who you are, what you sound like, what your drawings look like, the less confident you will feel. It is not about being good at drawings. It's about how you feel about your drawings. So how do we actually apply this lesson to our drawings? The first thing that I would do is to start writing out a creative voice guideline. And what I want you to do here is to be very honest about your creative voice, what comes naturally, and what are the inspirations that you want to pull from. In the Inner Artist course, I focus on this quite a bit because I think it's very useful to limit the scope of what you're trying to do in a project. Now, obviously, you don't have to limit the entirety of your artistic practice today and like have it all figured out. But I do think that limiting the amount of things that you're trying to complete and limiting the amount of things that you're trying to express in your artistic practice can be very useful, because in limiting, it's easier to accept what comes out. If you're trying to do everything, if you're trying to be an amazing painter, amazing at anatomy, amazing at portraits, amazing at expressions, amazing at story, and you're trying to do everything and trying to pull inspiration from all the artists that you see online, that can be very overwhelming. And in that, I think you are rejecting the fact that you have a limited voice. I think writing out and figuring out, oh, these are my actual aspirations creatively, and writing those limitations out and actually be honest about what you want to do makes it so much easier to accept yourself, because you're limiting in the scope. And within that scope, you're like, oh, that is actually who I am. Yes, I am someone who was inspired by tattoo designs at a very young age. So now I do ink drawings. And if you have that written out, it's so much easier to understand yourself and be like, okay, I'm going to start to be more accepting of the fact that I'm not going to be a painter because that is not my natural inclination. And as you start to write out these guidelines, as you develop them over time, because you're not going to have it all figured out all at once, it becomes easier to develop your confidence, because as you accept your limitations, you'll feel more confident in the thing that you do, because you get to focus more on the things that actually matter to you as a specific individual. And then you'll improve more in that one direction. And then the drawing practice becomes so much easier. It becomes easier to enjoy what you do. All of it just becomes better. So step number one is to start writing out a guideline for your creative voice. This can be project specific. That's what I recommend you do. Make them project specific so that you can change them over time, so there's less pressure on having it all figured out. But start doing it. Just start writing it out. Whatever comes to your mind, what are your natural inclinations? What are the things that you like drawing? And if you want help with that, check out the Inner Artist course that will be linked below. It's included in the Absolutely Everything bundle. But as always, you can do all of these things yourself. But if you want help with that, that will be linked below. The second aspect that we need to focus on if we want to make art that will impress people is actually having something to say. Having an opinion is very useful if you want to impress people. Take this back to the social setting. If you're meeting someone new that is confident, at peace with who they are, but has nothing to say, that's not very impressive. That's not very interesting. You want to meet people who are confident in what they believe in, and they express their opinions. They have things to say, even if they're opinions that you don't necessarily care about. Maybe you don't play D&D, but you meet someone who's confident and they're so into it that they have tons of opinions, and they just start expressing those opinions to you. Suddenly you're interested in D&D, and you're like, I don't particularly care about this activity, because this person is so into it, they have so many opinions, they're confident about their opinions, it's so interesting to listen to them. There's almost charisma built into that aspect of just like, oh, this person's into something. I'm excited to listen to you because you are excited about life. And that underlying energy is so inspiring that you want to be part of it. That is how you recruit people into your art practice. Like if you are someone who's building a career around your art, that's one great way to do it, is almost like storytelling and being excited, having opinions in the art, expressing ideas in the art is what will make it interesting. It's not just about technical ability. This is one thing that you see a lot, where artists who focus heavily on the technical aspects of drawing, who get really good at like the technicals of like perspective, anatomy, all of those things, the fundamentals, a lot of times they don't say anything in their art and then just falls flat. It's not as interesting. But then you see as a drawing that's basically just a meme, right? It's just a joke or an idea or something like that. And it resonates with so many more people because there's an opinion there. There's something that's being said. There's a story being told. Now, the story doesn't have to be obvious. It doesn't have to be on the surface. It can be as simple as, I'm trying to explore this aspect of beauty. But the more that you get into this idea and the more opinions you have about that, the more interesting the art becomes, especially as you start to show this to friends. And the more you have to say about that, the more interested people will be in the art itself. One thing that I've noticed when I go to friends' houses and I see the art that's on their walls, it's almost always story driven. It's so much less about the visuals. It's so much more about the story that they have and the emotions that they've attached to the specific art. That's why you see a lot of people who have fan art on their walls. It's because they have specific associations with those shows, because there's opinions that are being had in those shows. There's stories being told. Or it's about this specific piece represents this aspect of my personality. Because, oh, this person's an environmentalist and they paint trees. So I bought this painting because I believe in saving the environment. So therefore this piece represents a part of me. That opinion, I share the same opinion as this artist. Therefore I'm attached to this art that's being made. I do think that this is a superpower that I feel like more people need to lean into. If you have opinions that are maybe have nothing to do with the art practice, maybe they have to do with any aspect, right? Like I just talked about environmentalism. Are there different aspects of your philosophy around life that you can include in the art? You don't have to include all of it, but you can choose one specific aspect and you can decide to build a project around it. And then when you do put that art in front of people, because if you're trying to impress people, I assume that you're open to showing people, then you have things to talk about. And as you talk more about it, people will be impressed by the fact that you have something that you care about. So that is the second aspect of creating art that will impress people. Now, there's one very important thing that I need you to keep in mind. If you are a beginner artist, I would highly recommend that you keep your work off the internet until you find your voice, until you feel good about what you do. I think trying to chase after attention online can make drawing so much harder. even if you get approval, from other people externally, when you don't have your voice, when you don't know who you are, it will make it so much harder to figure out what it is that you actually want to make. So what I would recommend you do is focus on your art practice internally on your own, almost in secret, or with art teachers who have experience dealing with artists, until you feel impressed with your art. I think that's where the bar should be. When you start to feel like you are expressing parts of yourself that are interesting to you, that, feel good when you make them. When the pieces feel good to you, then start putting them out. This doesn't mean that you should feel perfectly about your pieces. Obviously, I don't think my pieces are like masterpieces or anything like that, but they feel good to me. When I make them, I feel good. When I look at them, it feels like it reflects a part of myself. And that makes it so much easier to put the work out there, because I'm being honest in what I do. I'm not going to stray beyond what is natural to me, because I have some sense of what it feels like to make honest art. So try to make sure that you do that before you start chasing external validation. You can obviously show friends who you trust, but when you show people, also express and communicate clearly what you expect from people. If you are in a place where if you're very sensitive to criticism, which I'm sensitive to criticism from specific people. I have friends in my life who know not to criticize my work because their opinion matters too much to me. So I'm just like too sensitive to what they have to say. So I've told them this. I've communicated to them, hey, I'm not open to criticism from you. Like, I do not need feedback from you. I'm already critical enough of my work on its own. I just need you to hype me up. That's what I need from you. And I know that might seem dishonest when you say that, but if those are your needs, communicate them clearly before showing your work to those friends, especially if these are close friends who you care about a lot. Now, it comes to showing parents. A lot of people have very complicated relationships with their parents. In that realm, you really have to leave it up to your own discretion, leave it up to your discretion to decide. But if you have parents who are overly critical, usually, I just recommend don't showing them. Their opinions don't matter. Ultimately, it's about expressing your creative voice. So don't try to get approval from people who don't usually give you approval. Now, if you want help figuring out your creative voice, overcoming perfectionism, leaning into the joy of drawing, check out the Inner Artist course that will be linked below. That's also included in the Absolutely Everything bundle. In the Inner Artist course, we really focus on developing your creative voice outline, figuring out your art style, creating a mini project, and really just getting hands-on practice with expressing who you are. We do a lot of reflective questions to really figure out what is it that we want to express. Because this is the course that I wish I had when I first started out, because I do think that ultimately that's the most important thing. Yes, technical ability is very important as well, which is why we have the Beginners Toolkit, the Portrait Bundle, the Figure Bundle. Those things as well are also important. But I think ultimately leaning into your creative voice is what will give you all the fulfillment that you're looking for in your art practice. So lean into that, start your mini projects, but as always, you don't need my help to figure that out. But if you want to speed up that process, check out the link below. I'll see you in the next video.